Okay, so hello and welcome everyone to yet another stream of Network Programmability Lab. This is Dmitry, and today we are going to continue doing some cool stuff with network programmability. Agenda for today is playing mostly with Ansible. So apologies for starting late. I think the stream today will take around 2.5 hours. I would like to keep it less than 3 hours. Last time we went above board and it was like 3.5 hours, so I probably shouldn't do such long streams. Okay, so before we start with Ansible, let me remind what we have done so far, where we are with our lab. So maybe for some of you this is the first stream, so maybe you didn't see my streams before. So basically I have a lab in Jinja 3 that at some point it's supposed to grow. Right now it's not so big, so I just have HQ here and one very small branch, but the idea here is that the network will grow to the right. There will be a data center, there will be some other branches, and so basically I want to play with different network programmability technologies, starting with just pure Python, and then netconf, restconf, IPAM systems, CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, all of the new interesting stuff that is out there. So far we played mostly with Netbox as part of the stream. So Netbox is quite popular IPAM system developed by Jeremy from DigitalOcean, and let me show you. So this is Netbox, where we can keep track of our devices, our inventory. We can keep track of IP prefixes. You can assign IP addresses to devices. So in this case, for example, if I click here on devices, let me make it a little bit bigger. I have a couple of devices that they added in different sites, like there is San Jose site, there is Brussels site, there are like CSR 1000V, there are ISVL2, there is also SAV, which we didn't yet add to the IPAM system. And then for every device I also defined, let me show you SJR1 for example. I defined an interfaces and IP addresses for the interfaces, and also in some cases you see that there is here a connection, and I specified which port I'm connected on another side. So we were playing a lot with this, and then we also started playing with APIs that they have. And last time we managed to get pretty amazing results from my perspective. So basically my GNS3 network right here, the only thing that I have here is management IP addresses. So if I go here, for example, to switch 1, there is only management interface gigabit 0 configured. On CSR1, for example, it's I think the same thing, but I don't recall actually. Yeah, so there is only management, so there is I can only SSH really to the box. Oh, and also see some comments in the chat. Sorry, I missed those doing my intro. So one of the questions is if it's okay to be here if it's my first time on the channel. Yes, absolutely, everyone is welcome. Ask questions. If something is not clear, I will gladly stop and explain. Maybe if you have a question, there is non-zero there is non-zero chance that somebody else has a question. Hey Glasgow, I'm glad you like my hat. Okay, so what I did last time, I wrote this Python script, which is, I think this one, create config templates. I probably should rename it, it sounds crappy. Where I used Python and the interesting technique called asynchronous programming, where we are using single thread, single process in order to execute concurrent tasks. And if that sounded complicated, because it kinda is. So, but let me explain. The idea behind it is we are, whenever we are trying to either configure something, some network devices, or gather some info from devices, usually we are not interacting with only a single box, right? We have like a network of thousands of devices, and we would prefer that our script wouldn't take hour to collect MAC address tables from all of the devices, okay? Or let's say 20 minutes. We would like to be it as fast as possible. So very, like if you just use netmiko and you use for loop, then, all of the stuff will be done sequentially. So you will connect to one box, execute some commands, gather them, then you connect to the second box, and so on. So this is not really efficient. So one way to work around this is to use what is called threading. But as I talked about threads during my previous streams, basically people who are not professional software developers barely understand threading very well. And threading is, it's very easy to make mistakes with threading. It's very easy to create race conditions. And I saw it firsthand where, people who just start with Python, they have this task of doing something on multiple boxes. They do it with some example from the internet, and then they come back to me and saying, oh, but this output doesn't make sense, there's some bug here. And I'm looking at the code, and then, I see it, but the problem is it's actually quite hard to explain to the person how threads really work unless they are into programming full time, and they have good solid understanding of programming. So I saw a lot of bugs connected with threading, and I usually tell people, if you don't really understand what is going on behind the scenes, don't use threading, because with threading the context between concurrent threads can be switched at any time, and your program either should be written in a way where it doesn't matter that this context is switched between tasks, or you should work around that. And it's really these problems with race conditions really become apparent where you use when you use a single resource, where you write or read from a single resource. Basically what happens is multiple tasks or multiple threads trying to write or read from the same resource, and then you will have an issues. So there are techniques to omit that in threading. One of them is called queue. Another of them is using lock. So for example, lock basically guarantees sequential operation during the task, where you acquire a lock, you do something, and then you release the lock, so then another thread can do its stuff. But when we are trying to use queues and locks, then it becomes quite hard. And well, from what I saw, not many network engineers can actually write threaded code. So there are a couple of questions in the chat. In this case, threading better than multiprocessing. So threading and multiprocessing serve different purpose. So kind of, I mean, it's also about concurrency, but they're used in different situations. So multiprocessing is even more has much more overhead because you spawn another Python process, really, unlike with thread, and threading is used mostly when you are bound with your I/O operation. So there's a read-write to the file, you read-write to the database, you do SSH connection, which is basically network I/O operation. So this would be a good use case for threading. And for multiprocessing, you should use multiprocessing where you are bound by CPU. So you are basically doing some kind of very CPU heavy mathematical operation or mathematical computation, and it can be parallelized. In this case, you would use multiprocessing to make use of your multiple cores on your computer. So, okay, another question is, what about good leaks which explain threading well in your opinion? Okay, so there are two good resources that I know, at least. One that was an eye-opener for me was Keynote from Python core developer Raymond Hettinger. So let me find it. I think it was by Bay. Raymond Hettinger. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so this one. So I'm going to pause the video recording from the conference, and so this is video, and there are slides that are separate to it, and let me find the slides. And slides can be found here. So this was an eye-opener for me this was my first steps for understanding threading, multiprocessing, and asynchronous programming. And then I would go to read the Fluent Python book. It's still probably one of the best Python books out there, this one. So, and they have really good chapters on threading, on everything, basically on everything Python related. So we will see when threading fails, just for experience, when in the same situation one time it works and other fails. Yeah, so I actually did I showed this on 2 streams ago. That stream was dedicated specifically for writing sequential version, then threading version, and then a synchronous version of, gosh, what we were doing there? I think we were doing collection of MAC address tables from multiple devices. So let me find it for you. So it should be on my channel. Let me see. Basically, I showed also an example where threading fails. I think, yeah, this one, Python threading and asyncio. That would be a link. So yeah, basically, whenever you do any kind of even print to the console, read-write to the file, read-write from network, read-write from database, with threading, your program is subject to racing conditions, which you should basically do something about. So threading is basically hard, and there is also some overhead. It's not as big as with multiprocessing, but it's there. So for example, if you spawn like thousands of threads, then you will be in trouble. Basically, at some point, the overhead from doing context switch between threads is so high that just using more threads doesn't make sense. So, like, couple of years ago, when Python 3.5 was released, that was quite significant in Python world, where basically there is this library called async.io, and it became part of standard Python library. And basically what it allows us to do, it uses what is called asynchronous programming, and the idea there is that we use single thread, single process. However, whenever we are doing any kind of IO operation and we are waiting for some kind of response, okay, we are doing context switch manually to some other task. So basically one thread, one process, and then it can serve a lot of connections, a lot of different tasks and concurrent IO operations. And on that 2 streams ago, I showed like performance gain just for using 4 devices, I think, or 4 or 5 devices. But if you start growing the number of devices, then the gain becomes even more. So I think IO is very lightweight technique to introduce concurrency in your program. However, and it's much easier to write safe code without racing conditions using async.io. The biggest problem though is you have to use different libraries. So you cannot use your HTTP request library, you cannot use your netmiko because your library should be async ready, let's put it that way. So all your tooling changes, and then you cannot easily migrate from synchronous code to asynchronous code. So this is a price you have to pay if you use it. However, the gain is really great. So once you kind of like start learning it, start understanding it, it becomes much more easier. So what we did last time was we using this information that is in netbox IPAM, and there are like IP addresses configured here and there are some connections configured here and there. On switches I also configured, on switches there were also VLANs configured. Like here there is gigabit 3010, which is access, and this was my notation for basically saying that gigabit 30 is in VLAN 10. I was basically getting this information from the netbox using their API, and then I was configuring network devices based on this information. So this concept is called basically IPAM as a single source of truth. And yeah, so basically we got working examples for Cisco, but obviously you can easily extend it to some other devices as well. So yeah, so that was really it, and we were using asynchronous programming to do HTTP requests to the netbox, and we were using a library called netdev to do SSH connection to the network devices. And basically after like the script runtime was like 8 or 9 seconds, something like this, and just it configures all of the devices. In our case we were configuring only 5 of those, so like these 5. But yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of amazing. Let me actually show you right now, for those of you who basically like the first time joined the stream and didn't see the last time. So basically, as I showed you here, my devices here, they have only this gigabit 1, which is management interface. It should be in VRF even, I think. Yeah, it's in VRF management. So you see here on the topology, they're all connected to the switch on the left, and then they're connected to NAT cloud. So from this machine where I'm running my topology, I can actually run my scripts, run my Ansible, whatever it is. So let me go ahead and do it. And I actually did an interesting setup where I'm doing SFTP, where basically PyCharm can upload my files directly to the machine. Previously we were using Git to check the stuff. Now I think it will be much easier to use this built-in SFTP client, which just upload the files. So I uploaded the project Network Programmability Lab on my GNS3 server. So if I now go to the virtual environment, I do activate. So and now I can run scripts. So let's go to scripts, and I think the script was this one, create config templates. And we also discovered some bug that the first time the switches are not getting configured and it's stuck in the infinite loop. So I didn't really investigate this, but I probably should contact the library developer to try to debug it. So for now I didn't do it. So let's just run the script now. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, so I see there are some connections coming via SSH. There is some loopback configured. Oops. Something is happening here. Yeah, so yeah, as I told, the script just runs infinitely for some reason. Yeah, so there is a question in the chat. In your previous videos, did you show the setup process for your work environment? Yeah, so basically 8% of everything that you see was done from scratch. So there is maybe 1 or 2 lines of Python code that I wrote off the stream, but everything else was written during the stream. So there is nothing that we started from empty directory, empty GitHub repo and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're interested, you can follow from probably the first stream. Yeah, so this script, something is broken when I'm connected to switch. I will have to debug this directly with developer of the library. But for now, last time I basically noticed that if I just run this again, yeah, so in this case it took 9 seconds to run. Now let's go to our devices, and now you see that a bunch of IP addresses were configured. So, and there are also good descriptions for the interfaces. So it says it's connected to switch 1, gigabit 11, there is an IP address, it's up. So if I go to a different device, there is the same thing. All of the interfaces are configured now. Now there is loopback. On the switch there is VLAN. So here there is VLAN 10, which is called blue for some reason, and gigabit 30 is in access VLAN 10 mod access. So all of this was configured by the script basically. And now I can even do ping for 172.16.254, let's say 9. So I can basically now ping all of these interconnects between these 4 devices. I'm able to ping those. So basically all of this is done directly, information we get is from the netbox. So I can go ahead for example, to netbox here, change some kind of connection or some kind of description here, run my script again, and basically it will reconfigure my network. So yeah, we finished doing that last time. Yeah, so there is a question in the chat: have you tried Golang? It's been hyped by the industry. No, I haven't tried Golang. I saw, I was kind of curious, but I decided, not to learn like just because the thing becomes popular or hyped. For example, right now in Python I can I'm pretty comfortable with Python. I'm doing Python for more than 5 years now, and I feel that I can solve almost any task with Python, and basically my perspective on this, if I encounter a task which it will be a limitation of Python capabilities, so I don't know, Python would be too slow from computational perspective, then I would give Golang a go. I will give Golang a go. Sounds funny, but not until then. Like, I don't see a reason why I would learn yet another language just because it's hyped, And in our industry we have so many things coming all the time, so like you have to prioritize what you want to learn, right? So almost every couple of months there is some new network programmability tool out there that it would be good to learn. So I have never learned Go so far. Okay, so yeah, this was what we finished last time, basically a Python script. And if I go here to the script, the whole script really takes around 200 lines of code with some spaces between lines, so like this is really nothing. So you see it's definitely not big script. So I think this is pretty cool result where we can reconfigure network based on what we have in IPAM. Okay, so this was last time, and then at the very end of the stream, well, not at the very end, on the last hour of the stream, starting playing with Ansible. So unlike Python and unlike writing Python code, I am not set proficient with Ansible. So I read something, I listened to the video course by Kirk Byers, but for some reason I didn't spend my time doing hands-on, so my Ansible knowledge tends to zero, and I decided that stream is a good way to learn it, to show where how I would learn it. Because it's actually different than when you see some person who knows the stuff completely. I know Python, so, and I know, for example, how to write asynchronous code, so for me it's very easy to just jump into the CLI and jump to the text editor and write some Python code that would work with minimal changes. But it's completely different experience when the person is not an expert, and I guess that a lot of people that are starting with network programmability, they are also not expert, they are trying to learn. So I decided that instead of me learning all of the stuff off the stream and then just showing it, doesn't make much sense from my personal perspective. Then why would I do the stream in the first place? From the second perspective, the stream is becoming like a video course, and this was not an intention. So intention behind the stream is actually to investigate something new, to learn some stuff, to show how I would learn something that I have no clue about. So this is what we will be doing. Obviously, I have some basic understanding of some tools that I'm going to cover, but it's I don't have too much hands-on in this case with Ansible. Okay, so if I go to the let me go through the files that we created last time. So we had this Ansible CFG. This is just a file with configuration for your current Ansible run. So in this case I only specify the inventory file, it is host YAML. So here is I have host YAML where I have different variables and hosts, and there was a bug which we discovered very late where I forgot this column at the end, and basically my script didn't work. Well, my Ansible worked, but it worked only on one device, so that was very strange. So we have this inventory file where you specify IP addresses or host names of your devices where Ansible should connect to. Let me also see, I think my music, yeah, my music is stopped working, so let me relaunch it. Yeah, by the way, I discovered this command line audio player just recently, and I think it's kind of amazing. Yeah, so I wrote this hosts file where I just specify my boxes. Then I have group vars folder where I specify some additional variables that are specific for the group. In this case, the group is called SJC. And then at the very end, I had this collect facts, and I didn't write this part on the stream. I wrote this part on the stream. And let me also make the sound a little bit lower again. So I wrote this part, and basically the only thing that this playbook is doing is connecting to the box. It uses ISFax module, and yeah, I changed it a little bit. So previously it was showing some variable from the ISFax. QSBBQ, hey, good morning. Yeah, so this is what we were doing last time, and this part I was just playing around. I wanted to have some kind of debugging. In this case, I found this on the internet. Basically, this one, it will take all output from the previous task, convert it to JSON, and then it will write it to the file. So this one I just found on the internet, and I just tried it. This part I didn't add on the stream last time. Okay, so oh yeah, and for those of you who have never seen Ansible, so the idea behind Ansible is its configuration management tool, which allows to do some tasks on different devices. Originally, the tool was invented for servers, where you would ship some kind of code directly to your destination server, and then you will run it there. But then it was extended to use with network devices, where instead of shipping the code directly to the box, we are actually executing some stuff locally via SSH, netconf, whatever it is, some REST API, whatever it is. So instead of shipping the code, we are executing it locally, and then we can do something with it. We can save output to the file, you can reconfigure your network. So the tool became really popular among network engineers recently. So I think covering it on the stream makes sense. And collection of tasks is called playbook in Ansible terminology, basically. And playbook itself, as you see, it's just a text file. It's a YAML file where you define declaratively what is it you are trying to do. Okay. So my idea for this stream was to basically configure some kind of routing protocol here between these devices, like either SPF or EIGRP, I don't know yet. You know, and just have prefixes so that I can ping everywhere. And I decided that it would be good to like build some kind of playbook which will be doing that for us. Okay, so let me go here and let's rerun this playbook, collect facts. So, and let me try to go through the history. History grep. Ansible. Yeah, so I just go Ansible minus playbook, collect facts, see what this does. So this task says that I should only use the group SJC, and to connect I will be using these variables called credentials, and credentials we are taking directly from the host file, and then username and password which are defined somewhere. Yeah, like here. Okay. So, fortunately this didn't work out, but that's fine. So something has happened. Gathering facts, collect IS facts. Network debug troubleshoot. I mean, enable to open shell. This doesn't give me much. Let me try to see if I connect it to the boxes via SSH. And I remember that the last time it was working. Okay. So it seems I can actually connect to the boxes just fine. Okay, let me run the playbook again, let's see what it says. Okay, this is not really helpful, but and I cannot remember how we made it work. Well, let's see. It's a catch-all message. Thank you for a very explicit lock message. It's that you enable lock paths to find the underlying issues. Close the steps. Okay, so the whole thing is quite ridiculous. So it redirects me to this page and they say it's a generic message. To troubleshoot it further, follow this. I mean, no wonder that that people are not happy who are just starting the unknown tool. I mean, that are starting the tool that is unknown to them, and you know, from the very first part, you know, you get any kind of error message is just complete. It's not really helpful. So yeah, all of the small things actually don't help adoption from my perspective. And I also found some interesting playbook called debug, and I think I actually will start it now. Basically, what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to print all the variables for the device. Let me run it. I actually didn't run it, I found it on the internet. Okay, so debug. There, okay, so this one should be fixed. Okay, so name, it's the name. Debugging. Our playbook will have a name debugging. Let's say hosts all and tasks will be this task. Okay, let's see if this works now. Okay, something has happened here. And let me do hosts sjc, and let me re-upload this file, because it also uses the local one, and I don't need to know details about the local one. So let me try this uploading this file again. Okay, so inventory host names, this is kind of important, we use it in different places. Username and password is also important. What I don't see is Ansible connection local. Okay, this is my local details about this machine. Python, Ansible Python version 2.7.12. Yeah, so this is also important. I will have to change the Python interpreter to use Python 3. Okay, so this is just mapping. So what I don't see is Ansible connection. So I don't see, where is this? I don't see this Ansible connection local. Let me try putting this to the group variables as well. I'm not sure if it changes anything, but I'll just try. Oops, no, I don't need debug, I only need correct facts. Yeah, so there is a question in the chat. In your opinion, which is better, pure Python and tools like Ansible? I don't know. What I like about Ansible, at least from what I saw so far, is you kind of don't have to write this backend infrastructure code on you know, and there is big community around Ansible, so there is a lot of cool modules that people are working on, so you can like leverage the power of community compared to like pure Python, where most likely you will have to do everything by yourself or yourself and, you know, some of your friends or colleagues. However, I think with just pure Python you can do whatever is done in Ansible and much faster. Yeah, so but yeah, basically if you are just looking for a quick way to collect some outputs from a bunch of devices, probably Ansible will be faster. It all depends. I think right now I don't have enough skills about Ansible to have a good opinion. They also have this system where they kinda know what config is there and what config is not there. And writing that part in Python, actually, it's not an easy task. So I'm wondering what is wrong with this enable to open shell, and I really have absolutely no clue. Provider credentials, register as facts. Yeah, I think Ansible is powerful. I agree with you. That said, I know that, you know, I can write in Python scripts that will run 10 seconds and do everything compared to Ansible, where it will run much longer. So yeah, it depends. From another perspective, you get some kind of error reporting, so you can see what has changed, what hasn't changed, what crashed. Like we have here, nothing is working, even though last time it was working fine. So probably I will have to Google this around and see. Let's try unable to open shell Ansible IS facts. Maybe this host key checking false. Oh, good question. Yeah, so the question in the chat, what is IS facts? Good one. Yeah. So you see what happens when you are, you know, you are down in your silo. You start using the terms and terminology that may be completely unfamiliar to people. So yeah. So basically, by default, Ansible has what is called, whenever Ansible does any kind of configuration management and runs any kind of playbook, it first does what is called collecting facts. And collecting facts means basically collecting some kind of information about the hosts that are involved. And if you are using like traditional Ansible where you connect to servers, it will basically connect automatically to all of your servers and collect some info like what is the Python version, what is the Ansible version, what are interfaces on the box, you know, stuff like that. With network devices it's a little bit different because as I told you before, we don't run any code remotely, we run everything locally from our station. So basically for any kind of vendor, well, not any kind of, but for a lot of vendors, people wrote modules that are collecting facts about that box. So basically what it really does, it connects to the device, runs some commands, like in case of Cisco it would be like show version, show inventory, show IP interface brief. It parses it with regular expressions and it returns variables, right? So the host name of this device is this, version is this, there are 10 interfaces, here's the IP for every interface. So basically general information about the device. So in this case, IS facts is basically collecting facts for IS devices. Okay, so let's continue debugging this. So one interesting part that I found here in the example, there was host key checking false. How to set host key checking false in Ansible inventory file. Okay, so you can do it either in an etc Ansible CFG or .ansible CFG file. Okay. Okay. So let's upload this file. Team of Max, does it answer your question, by the way? It's so broken. Okay, so first key checking false. Okay, let's try googling IS facts. Okay, I definitely have a user. Okay, options. Collect the base set of device from a remote device that is running iOS. This module prepends all of the base network fact keys with Ansible net. This fax module will always collect the base set of facts from device and can enable or disable additional facts. Okay. No. Okay, so we are specifying option provider, which refers to variable credentials, which has host, specifies DNS hostname or address for connecting to the remote device over the specified transport. The value of host is used as a destination address for the transport. Okay. Username and password. It's actually kind of funny. So they have an example here which says transport CLI. However, if you look here on all of their documentation, they have absolutely no mentioning of the transport. Okay, let me also, just in case, specify proper Python interpreter. I don't think it matters, but let's do it anyways. think it's part of CFG file actually. Python. You can set Ansible configuration option to the Ansible configuration usually set per host, the inventory file associated with a group of hosts. Okay. Just in case. Hey Zarek XTI Paco. By the way, and I didn't put it here. Yeah, so we will covering basically Ansible for today. The end goal is to configure EIGRP using Ansible and maybe some additional parameters there, or maybe OSPF, I do not know yet, in the network. However, right now I cannot even do fax collection and it drives me crazy. So I'm not sure why it's disappearing on me. This is not helpful. Okay, let me try launching this again. Sorry for this float on top. Okay, now this part is done. Yeah, so yeah, we will have to play more with Ansible, but something is broken and I have no clue what is going on. So I remember the script was running fine last time and now it's just nope. Actually, you know what, guys? Let me go to my GitHub repo, and I think I don't recall if I think I committed everything to repo last time, so maybe I did some mistakes and I just, you know, didn't realize it. So what does it say? Ansible. So we had this collect facts, create. Maybe... Hey Alex, nice to see you. So yeah, maybe this is this intonation problem. Let me try this. That would be very embarrassing. Let's add this variable. I don't think that's a problem though, but oh, I added it already, so let me upload this. Yeah, let's try this. Let me put this, let me create Scratch file. And I'll just cut the whole thing. And IS facts provider CLI. Provider credentials. Okay, I will save it right like this now. Support. There is also minus VVVV for verbose output. They still like don't provide a lot of info here. Oh yeah, it actually matters. Basically, VVVV is like the highest level of debugging. Socket pass none. Okay, ping device is just fine, but changed false message unable to open shell. Okay. In the end, I want to be able to reconfigure my network basically based on what I have in the YAML file, in the variables in the YAML file. So, for example, partially data about like VLANs and IP addresses is stored in Netbox, but everything that is functional data like routing protocol, routing adjacencies, networks that you advertise, I would want to store in variables in the playbook. So whenever I want to change something, I go to the playbook and change it there and rerun it. And then later down the line, I want to streamline this process where I do a change, I do commit, and this change is done automatically on commit and tested. So this is a goal where I'm heading towards. But this drives me crazy that I cannot understand what is going on here. Sorry to hear that. Good night. Okay, this guy also has the same problem in the action plugin. So there is a question, did it work before? I remember last week on Sunday it was partially working. Well, we got to the point where I could collect the IS facts. And then, you know, I started playing around, but I didn't change much really. Now I'm not 100% sure, is it because I messed up somewhere or no. Okay. Okay, this whole thing is the same. Yeah, there is host Cisco. We changed it to SJC because our group in hosts is called SJC. So let's see, vars Ansible connection here was misspelled. I changed that. Here there was no column. I changed that as well. Okay. Group vars. In group vars, the whole thing is pretty much the same. Apparently you can install paramicos that in a way does not install in user bin Python, but instead goes to user local bin Python. I also thought wrong, it's a... okay. Let's set up everything from zero. No, no, please no. Ansible Python interpreter is user bin Python. Okay. And it was in hosts. Ansible Python interpreter is user bin env Python. Okay, so this uses a Python version directly from the environment. Let me also see pip freeze. Ansible 2.4.3, just to make sure that we are safe. Let me upgrade the Ansible. Okay, Ansible really is up to date. Okay, I was able to SSH to this IP, for example. Let's check it again. Admin works fine. Just also for the test, let's go to SSH known key, known hosts. I don't see here any IP addresses. Man, this is very confusing. Okay. Let's upload this file again. Yeah, so you can see that there is always some kind of entry threshold for using any kind of tool. Let's also add this. Yeah, right now it's almost a guesswork. Welcome to programming world, where the only thing you can get done is using trial and error. Okay. Could you repeat what is the problem? Yes. So basically I have the playbook from the last time. I did some changes, but not many of the stream. Like I just added a new task here, and this playbook is supposed to collect iOS facts from the devices, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It just doesn't work. Pretty simple. The only thing I'm doing is just collecting facts, nothing else. And it says it's unable to open shell. Using connection plugin network CLI. Okay, so let's continue googling this. What is going on? In tab before, it says about plugin. No, devices do not have shells. They are iOS devices, so we are running playbooks locally. We are supposed to. So we have, where is it? In hosts we have Ansible connection local. Plugin. No, I mean this is something different. Here is a guy just writing additional plugin for Ansible. I'm not planning to do that, at least for now. Just for the sake of this, I'm also going to put connection local in the playbook. Was it? Okay. Let's see if this helps. So it looks like Ansible doesn't make these into meaning shell or AS. I'm not 100%. I didn't understand the question 100%. I'm sorry. Could you please clarify it? I don't know, the whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I'm going to enable logging like they offered here. So if you get this, connection diamond has not been successfully talked to the remote network device. Generally means there is authentication. It's catch all message, meaning you need to enable log pass to find underlying issues. Enable network logging and how to read log file. Okay, let's try. Okay. Okay, let's see what is in our Ansible log now. Okay, this is facts about local system. Okay, here is Paramico. So this is where we are trying to do SSH. Authentication password failed. Wow. You is a user running Ansible, not the remote user. I have reread the doco and articles and had another go. For the life of me, I cannot replicate my problems earlier, so I'm going to close this. Oh, nice. If I explicitly tell isfax or isconfig to authorize, problem seems to be connected to the provider arguments authorized through and all pass. Seems like password is not being copied into auth pass. No, there's nothing else here really. But this seems to be kind of interesting. Provider arguments authorized through. Let's actually go back to their docs. Instruct the module to enter privileged mode on the remote device before sending any commands. The device will attempt to execute all commands in non-privileged mode. If the value is not specified in the task, the value of the will be used instead. Okay, no, I don't have to use this because if you SSH, if I SSH, I go directly to the privilege mode. SSH key file, no. Auth pass specifies password to use if required to enter privilege mode on the remote device. If authorized is false, then this argument does nothing. Just for the tests, I'm going to add this. Timeout 10 default. Specified password used to authenticate the connection of the remote device. This value is used to authenticate the SSH session. Okay. Username. This part looks good to me. Okay. Yeah, I'm checking spaces and stuff. Okay. I'm a little bit concerned about syntax, if the syntax is correct here. I think it's fine, but I already spent like more than an hour trying to figure this out. So checking everything will not hurt. So let's see, group variables. YAML version. It's supposed to have host groups by data center, and each data center uses some different service. Okay, this looks okay to me. Host connection, Ansible connection type to the host. This can be the name of any Ansible connection plugins. SSH protocol types are SSH or Paramico. The default is smart. And also for the test time, I'm going to remove this image. Yeah, this is probably the first stream where nothing is working. Okay guys, if you have any suggestions, I am all yours. I'm almost ready to give up and like, okay, no, I will just write a Python script. Let's set from 0. So I'm almost ready to, yeah, to kind of like start from scratch and just find some example on the internet and copy paste the whole thing, except of username and password. But it feels kind of lame. though. Okay. Let me rerun this debug YAML for a second. Let's see if this changes anything. So there are some interesting points here that I see that this username and password is taken just fine. Yeah, devices that I'm trying to connect are virtual. I'm able to ping them and SSH to them from this machine. I changed Python version so it runs Python 3. And let's also, in this debug one, let's have another one called dump specific variable, and say debug username. Let me try that. I'm ready to try anything now just to get it working. I forgot the syntax for this. Okay, I'm going to remove the known hosts file completely. So Ansible SSH args, is it environmental variable? No, I didn't try ad hoc. I'm very new to Ansible, so see. Let me Google this Ansible SSH args. I doubt it uses, well, Ansible in this case will not use SSH per se, because it will use the libraries that is specified by isfacts module, which is Paramiko, because we are connecting to the Cisco device. I did it because of some problem to get to my EFNG routers. Okay, let's try. It will not hurt. Let's try and IS. I did change something on devices though, now that I'm trying to recall it. Okay, let's try this first, CFG. Okay. Ansible is very well known for its low entry threshold. Oh, this output is amazing. Well, I did already with Python. I was collecting a lot of stuff with Python on the stream, so I want to learn the Ansible. Okay, so Ansible sjc -i my inventory file, which is host.yaml, m row a gelatin brief u admin ask pass. Okay. SSH password admin. Can open it. What? Can't open IP. Okay, so I'm ready to do the following. First, a lot of examples out there use inventory file which is in INI format. I am ready to create a new file. Hosts and Cisco. This is old example because SSH host was deprecated. Okay, need to find something else. Let's say IS fax example. No, not from you use some kind of article. Okay, this guy doesn't show inventory. Let me see example from Kirkvirus. Ansible Kirkvirus. It's completely no backwards compatible. Not exactly. So Ansible actually is written in Python. So you can write your Python modules that will be used in Ansible. Okay, this one uses roles. This is too complicated. Ansible class. Okay, this is just a course. Ansible course. Oh, this one. Let's see. Oh, he doesn't include his host file. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It seems they removed this SSH host. So let's say here. I'm going to copy this whole thing because I can. Okay, so localhost Ansible, local Ansible interpreter. This Ansible interpreter will be the same one I used before. User bin and Python. And then this one will be, let's say, SJ. The group will be called SJC. SJC wars. Okay, and now we are changing an IP addresses here. So we will just put 2. Okay. So, and now let's say we will have sjc r1 and sjc r2. Okay. Okay, this looks okay to me. And exercise 2 YAML, no, exercise 5b YAML. Yeah, we'll create also a new playbook. Well, probably I don't know how fun it is to watch, but I don't feel like this is fun. I'm struggling here with getting this to work. That said, I kind of understand, like, you know, why people, like, you know, like, you're trying to start, you're trying to get it working, you have simple examples, and you know, you just hit the wall. You're googling and you see some issues raised on Ansible website instead of some good articles which could help out. So the whole thing is kind of discouraging, very, you know. So my hosts are called HJC, debug. Okay, let's start with just small. Please work. My playbook will be called please work. Okay. So I have to, in Ansible CFG, I have to change this to host. So let's upload this one. Let's upload the hosts file, and let's upload test. No. Oh, test HTML. Okay. This will be the test YAML. And let's upload this one. So now here, let's check test YAML right there. Hosts file seems fine to me. And then what else? A CFG file. Okay, inventory hosts. Okay, so Ansible playbook, but this playbook doesn't connect at all, so we just should be able to see the I think I need to put this close. Okay. Okay, this works. Except I see a message, hello world. Where I'm looking for Ansible underscore host. Oh, okay. This should be intended. Okay, so now I can display the variable val, but still I didn't connect anywhere. Okay, let's move forward. 5c. It is here. There are some other variables. Let's see what is here. Okay, here is facts only. Using IS facts. Okay. This is better. Let's copy the whole thing, shall we? Okay, now we need to have this username and password, so this should be in root variables. Or where? Here, so this covars. So let me go to this hosts file. SGC vars. Here I'm setting username is equal to admin, password is equal to admin. Okay. And then let's upload this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there is a hotkey to upload this. I'm not sure. I only learned about this feature like just a couple of days ago. Okay, so let's check this. So Ansible host username, password, credentials. Okay. This seems to be what it's supposed to be. Okay, no hosts matched, okay, because my group is called SJC. Key. Key map. Let's see, upload. Command Option Shift Q. Okay. Command Shift Q. Let's try. I added space here. Shift Option Q. No. Okay. And this worked. And that part didn't work. Oh, damn it. Okay, what happens if now I run this collect facts? The whole thing makes 0 sense to me. So let me try putting it side by side. So test YAML, and here collect facts. Oh. Oh. Oops. Oh no. Great. So all this time the error was just in front of my nose, but well, this is even a little bit depressing. So instead of host name it should be host, and I put host name. Wow. So just for the last test, let me change the incfg file. I am going to change back to host YAML. Yeah, so I tried to upload it via combination, doesn't work. Yeah, kind of. It's super depressing. Okay, it works. It works, and I have absolutely 0 sense of, I don't have any kind of satisfaction right now, even that it works. I literally wasted 2 hours on this. Okay, so I really like YAML. I actually don't know why so many people in their examples they use YAML playbooks, but host inventory file people use INI format. I really don't get it. Like if you use YAML already for playbooks, why do you use INI for everything else? So that's why in the very beginning I said, okay, I'm going to use YAML format. Okay, so let's change this a little. I want in this host file, the host YAML, I want to have the same kind of thing where I have an alias for the host. Let's try Ansible inventory YAML alias for host. Okay, host jumper Ansible host blah blah blah. Okay. I need to have a mapping of these devices, or let me actually do this. So in collect facts, I should be able to say, and also let's delete this gathering facts. So because this will invoke the default facts module, we don't need this. Now here I want to be able to show a message which will be net host name, I think. Okay, so I need this because I want to rename my host YAML a little bit. So host, this will be sjr1. Let's put it with small letters. No, big letters is fine. sjr1, and then this is supposed to be Ansible host, like this. According to the docs, Ansible host. Yeah, okay. Okay, so sjr2 Ansible host. Okay. After I managed to fix this problem, I think it will be much more faster from now on. Okay, so 13 and 14 are two switches. Okay. Okay, so Ansible host. Okay, so now let's double check that this works. So in collect facts, let's have first name, version, Ansible net version. Okay. Support this file as well. Nice. Okay, it still works. Woohoo! I feel much better now. And there was this debug. Oh, there was this scratch file. Let's add this now. So register saves this to a variable, and now I'm doing copy content to destination out inventory hostname as facts JSON, save facts JSON file. Okay, let's run this. Destination directory doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so I saved something JSON file. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I get an IP addresses. This is bad example. We need R1. So it shows all IP addresses, file systems, image, interface, IP address for every interface, status, type, MAC address, line protocol, serial number, version of software, free memory, total memory. I'm not sure where is this coming from. Ansible net neighbors. I'm curious about this part. Is it CDP? It's a list of LLDP neighbors. Okay, got it. So now LLDP neighbors, serial number version. Okay, I'm glad that this part works. So let's continue with our EIGRP stuff, I think. So I also want to check something. I want to create a directory host vars, and here let's say I will create a file called sj sj_r1 YAML, where I will just put some variable, let's say test variable 1 to 3, and then I want in my collect facts here, let's say debug message is test variable. So I want to make sure the syntax works, and I need a name for this. I want to see how can I run only specific task in playbook. Ansible run specific task. I think it's using tags. Yeah, it's using tags. You should use tags. Tags packages. Okay. So tasks, debug, I'm also going to get rid of this one. I will put in debug. Okay. Okay, this should work theoretically speaking. Let me actually upload the whole folder. Okay. So I'm going to collect facts with tags debug. Okay, so for R1 it worked, and okay, perfect. So now I can define variables per group or per device. Okay, so this part I also will move to our debug YAML. Now when it's working, it's much easier to navigate the whole thing. Okay, so collect facts. Let's do provision YAML. Okay. So we want to run module called is command, and let's see, is command Ansible. Oh, thank you very much for empathy. Yeah, you have a good night. Thanks very much for sticking with me and helping me getting through it. It was very painful experience actually. Good night. Okay, so tasks is command. Yeah, let's start with just this example. Okay, let's see. Provider. Okay. So provider credentials. Okay. Let's rename this. Let's have it not provision but collecting outputs. Okay, so collect. No, let's do collect outputs, not collecting outputs. Let's be consistent. Plot. Okay, so Ansible playbook collect outputs. Okay, I ran the command, but I didn't display the output, I guess. I'm looking for a way how can I show this on the screen. I guess this is copying this to the file. I don't want the file, I want to show it on the screen.
Seems so far away. Lines in motion trace me back to you. Had I known, I would have shown my face, but it had crossed my mind.
Okay.
It's always so cold. I hope that you would take my side. The waters run cold. I was only ever take my side.
Ansible collect iOS commands and display them. Okay, through registration. I wonder if it can be done easier. Or, hold on, I think okay, let's just try sending this and let's try with verbose output. I think it will show us. So if I do -v, Unsupported parameters for S command module. Transfer found in provider. Supported parameters include. Okay. This is useful error message. Unable to open shell is not useful error message. Perfect. Yeah, so this -v flag, it actually shows the output. Not beautifully though, but and let's try also register. Let's say output and then debug message I think it will be like this. See the outlines, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it should be a variable. Okay, now it's much more better. Cool. So I can collect commands now. What if I want to collect a few of them? Let's say show version and show everything. Yeah, show memory statistics. Nice. So I collected a couple of commands now. Yeah, this seems to work. What if let's also add what show arg, show mac address mac. I don't recall if it's with minus or no. Show mac address table. Okay. It's funny because this one command fails, show MAC address table on routers, then it doesn't display output for the whole thing. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So let's have the playbook called provision. It will be similar to collect outputs, but a little bit different. So this will be provision. No, it's because the show MAC address table command is not present on routers. So it seems that if one command fails, it just fails the whole play. Provision network. No, that's not beer. You know that I don't drink alcohol. Okay, so now I want to start configuring the EIGRP. Okay, so let's think this through. So to configure EIGRP, we will need a couple of variables. Mostly we will need let's say EIGRP IS number. Let's say it will be 100. And then we have the whole subnet for the site, which is 172.16. So EIGRP network will be 172.16. Zero zero, and then EIGRP network prefix network wildcard mask. Okay, this will be 00.255.255, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So we need to see how the configuration is actually done. So using isconfig. Okay, so let's start. Provision network gather fax. Now host HDC connection local. This part will be pretty much the same. Isconfig provider authorize. No, this part I don't need. Lines. Okay, so already here we need to use this template. So let's try using that, or isconfig Jinja. I don't like when the links go to the video, just video are good, but not as a first link. Okay. Lines. I want Jinja template. I don't need this. Jinja is config. Nice. Okay, so let's see their playbook. Oh, this is not Ansible. Oops.
For a moment you slip through. I'll chase you till I'm tired. Back to the place I met you. I'll stay here for a while.
Okay, isconfig module source.
I can't
Sorry, what? Command and click.
of your hands round my neck.
Specify the source path to the file that contains the configuration or configuration template to load. The path to the source file can either be full path on the Ansible control host or relative path from the playbook or root directory.
My legs have carried me this far, and I can't turn back.
Okay,
I know, you know,
so
I can't
this will be configure EIGRP.
of your hands round
This will be isconfig,
I'll hold
and it will use provider credentials, and it will use source file templates.
we fell asleep. It's been so long before you. I'll keep
Oh, I always use that. It will be hard to learn small things like that. Okay, so templates, let's say EIGRP, let's say iOS, EIGRP, J2. Okay, so this will be router. Router EIGRP, and then EIGRP IS number. And this will be network EIGRP network prefix. EIGRP network wildcard. Okay. So now I have to specify the path to this. So templates is EIGRP J2. Seems like that's the only thing that I have to use. Let's try. Okay. Exception occurred during task message. Attribute error, value error. Okay, let's try to do it with VVV. Path specified in SRC not found. Okay, so this CRC didn't work out. Templates, IS. Oh, okay. I didn't upload the file. And I think I didn't upload group variables as well. Okay, let's try this again. Something is going on. Nice. Okay. So if everything was done correctly. Woohoo! I have 3 neighbors on every device. Okay, on this guy I didn't configure anything. Oh, on this guy there is no IP address. Okay. So let's see. Let's go to switch 1. And let's see show IP route. Nice. I'm getting some prefixes here and there. So let's try pinging this loopback, and this is a loopback of CSR2, I guess. No, it's loopback of CSR. I don't recall which one. But let's ping the loopback of this guy of R2 from switch 1. So ping source loopback 0. Perfect. Nice, that's pretty cool. I think I kind of started changing my opinion about Ansible. So once you get past this initial point, just to get variables working and stuff, kind of feels like it's not that hard. Let me rerun this and let's see what will change. Okay, so it seems it changes config. Yeah, I want to get one more thing done. I want to have passive interface for EIGRP on some links, like on switch 1 towards the hosts. I want to disable EIGRP. So on gigabit 3. So I think this would be a useful thing. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe vice versa actually. So I will do passive interface default, and then for these links I will undo it. So gigabit 1 and gigabit 2. So this will be additional variables. No, I think we will actually do it next time, because it introduces new concept where we have to iterate through like list. So probably it's better to do it next time. Okay, so yeah, let's indeed summarize. So we started, well, we continued playing with Ansible, and there was a bug, and we couldn't find it for 2 hours, which was, instead of host like here, it was Ansible underscore hostname, and I couldn't connect to via SSH basically to do IS facts. Yeah, so the question in the chat, didn't get iteration for what? Yeah, so I wanted to have passive interface in EIGRP, so I don't advertise prefixes toward hosts, but I want to have it in pluggable way where you specify a list of interfaces, and the template is supposed to do iteration through it with for loop to get it done basically. So this introduces additional concept in Jinja for loop iteration, so that's why it's better to do it next time. Yeah, so yeah, let's continue. So there was this bug with Ansible hostname, which we didn't figure out for 2 hours, and the way we figured it out is by just switching to, you know, taking some working example from the internet, and then we discovered that yeah, it should be Ansible host, not Ansible underscore hostname. So once that part is done, we double checked that IS facts module is working. We can get Ansible net hostname, we can get Ansible net version. It was all good. We have this debug one where we can save all facts to the JSON file in directory out. We have this playbook which is calling IS command, where you can specify a bunch of commands where yeah, so it will just go to the device and collect them. Probably it would be interesting to figure out how to continue running the playbook if one of these commands fails for some reason. But even like this, it's more or less fine. We can separate devices into groups where we would run these commands only on routers, but all of these 4, let's say, on switches. So I think that can be done. And then at the very end, we actually starting building our provisioned playbook. This one, where I'm referring to Jinja template file. In this case, templates IS EIGRP Jinja 2, where basically it looks like typical IS config for EIGRP, and I substitute these variables with actual variables for the group. So in this case here I have group variables, EIGRP IS number, EIGRP network prefix, and EIGRP network wildcard mask. So yeah, so this is what we did for today, and next time we will continue playing with this. We will introduce some additional stuff in Jinja 2 templating, and maybe it would make sense to actually start going beyond our first site and configure something like DMVPN across our main side and remote side. I think that part would be pretty cool. Then we also would need to configure BGP with provider, I guess, but that is for the next time. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much for sticking with me, even though it was I think like for quite a long time it was useless to watch me struggling with getting it done, but it was an interesting experience. Yeah, so I hope you will come next time, and until then, cheers.